Hi. Oh, sorry. Didn't see you there. I was just listening to some pretend music. Yeah, I'm still too cheap for real music. Well, in this episode, we're going to look at, we did a little bit of it last episode. I'm just going to go a little bit more further, looking at moving puppets in a straight line. I've got a later one using a dragger, but moving them in a straight line, you really want them to move nice and smooth. So that's what I'm going to be looking at here. If you grab them with a dragger and drag them around, it can get a bit rough and jerky and it doesn't look so good. So I'm going to look here at doing it in a straight line. Cool. I'm usually pretty bad at getting things finished on time, so I'm going to try and get straight into it. Cool. Let's jump into our Wookie scene. So here's a Wookie. From the previous one, I've dropped a background in, and I've got the Wookie. I've zoomed him up a little bit, all ready to go. So if we want him to move, say, from left to right, what we can do, oops, I've got the background selected. We're going to record, so we want to arm for recording his position. And so I want him to start over here. Sorry, got to go into record mode. We're still in streaming mode. And I want him to record and move way across the screen. So what I'm going to do is, don't really need to record, or if I'm just going to move him sideways. Now the annoying thing is, whenever you arm and disarm everything, it resets all the values. So you decide in advance what you want to record or not record. And I keep forgetting myself. So I'm going to make him start over here. And to do that, actually, I want to disarm so he starts over here. And then I'm going to arm it. So the idea of disarming is to say, this is just what the puppet's going to start with. The puppet's going to start with, if I didn't do anything, that's where he's going to be. And what I'm going to do now is going to record by arming this one a new X value, which I'm going to grab and put him over the other side. So I just grabbed that and dragged it. You can also drag up and down, or you can drag left to right. And so because I've now got it armed, and when I do a record, it's going to do a short little recording. I don't need to do it that long because it's just recording new value. I can just grab it and drag it out, and the last value for an X position is going to get pulled out the full thing. So you're going to say, what's the point of that? It's just jumped over there. Well, this is where this top little corner becomes handy. Right up in this top little corner of the take is a little box. If I pull it over like that, he moves across as it blends. This is called a blend, and it will blend from the old value to the new value. Now, if you look closely at this curve, you might notice that it is a curve. Well, one of the things in the latest version is you can now make it a straight line. Because with a curve, he's going to start slowly, get faster in the middle, and slow down again. With a straight line, he just starts moving immediately and will stop immediately when the blend stops. So if I stopped it a little bit earlier, moves across, and when it gets into the blend, he just stops moving. So sometimes if you're doing a particularly long blend, it becomes noticeable. And maybe if I drag it out, and I'll show what can happen. What happens is he's barely moving at all at the beginning. And then he starts moving faster around about the middle. That's noticeable. And so that's the sort of thing, it's particularly important with a longer scene where he's doing a longer movement to use the no easing. so he starts moving at a reasonable speed from the very beginning rather than speeding up in the middle. So that's the importance of that one. This is a new feature in the latest release. Thanks, guys, Adobe. Okay, so the other one we can do is I'm going to now, well, I'm not going to record a Y value. So that's the simplest linear blend. Now, you can do the linear blend, I find is useful for Y values and scale values as well. So if I want to say, I want them to look a little bit bigger, and I don't know, I just changed it and I do a record. I'm just doing Control-R to record. I could be clicking the record button there. I couldn't be bothered recording the full length, so I'm just going to drag it out, and then I'm going to grab this edge. And I find it's always the right thing to line it up with the previous recording. If one ends earlier, it always just looks a little bit fake. And if you go to straight on these ones, you should do a straight on all of them. Again, because it just looks off if you don't. So great. He's moving, and he's getting bigger at the same time, gently as he moves across. Now for shift click, I've selected all three, just to speed it up a little bit, make it a little bit clearer. See, he's got a little bit bigger. And so it's a useful way, if you want to move a puppet from one position in a straight line to another, doing a recording of the new value. So that's how do I put another, move him again? Okay, well I'm going to record, I'm going to arm all three. And I'm going to move him back again. And let's make him smaller. And I'm going to drag that out, and I'm going to do another blend. And so what this is doing is I've still got the old recordings behind, and I talked about this a little bit in the previous episode as well, but it's going to blend from the old ones to the new ones. And because I just did a straight, I'm going to do another straight here. And as soon as the blend finishes, it no longer leaves the old value, and so it goes grey. So you know that it's no longer using that old value at all. So what's going to happen now? He moves across, dancing, 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 and then he moves back again, dancing, dancing, dancing. And so you can stack. So these ones down here, I can start trimming back if I wanted to. I just generally don't bother, but you can't trim it back here because the blend what happens is you get these jumps because the blend's trying to use the old value and it's not going to use the new recorded blend value. Okay, now you can also do the same sort of stuff on the background. So I might do the, not the scale, position X, that's what I'm after. I know what I'm doing. Okay, so I've got position X, and I'm going to slide this background way over to the right, and I'm going to do a record. Now you may notice I forgot to start from the beginning. No problem. Drag it across. All you do is click on the middle and drag. Don't click near the edge or else you extend. Stand it out, and then grab this top corner, do a blend, and I'm going to go a no easing to get a straight blend. And so what's going to happen is effectively I'm doing a camera pan because the scene's going the other direction at the same time as the puppet's moving around. And I might decide to try and line these all up so they stop at the same time. And so that's how you do linear blends. And you get very smooth sort of movement. And you can stack them as many times as you need to get up the final result you want. I think that's all I want to show on this particular episode. And oh, somebody left a message. Hang on, that was me. Channel. Hank didn't seem very impressed about that one. Come back over here. Turn everything back on. It's a bit of a problem trying to use Character Animator to animate myself while I'm trying to demonstrate the animation software. Oh well. So I think that's all I wanted to show for the just for the linear movements. It's just recording the new value. You got to think about what the old value is, what the new value is going to be, and then just gently do a nice straight line from one position to the other. Straight. Now, oh, actually, I've got an idea. I'm going to show you one more thing. But I actually don't recommend you do this. But let's show it anyway. So if we come back over here, we come back to our Wookie scene. So the other thing I could have done, say for position X, I'm going to shift click, and I'm hitting the del key to delete them. So I've got rid of my position X recording for Wookie. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hit record. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this live. Drag, 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 drag. Now, I can do that for X. So I can't do it for X and Y at the same time. Oh, I had the mic on. So you can drag it around. It's just harder to get a nice smooth movement. And if he's dancing around like that, you can't really notice it. So it's maybe I'm going to turn off the draggers. You see, it's a little bit jerky. And that's the problem with just trying to use the mouse on these values. And it's also if I was using a dragger instead of affecting those position properties. It's just hard to get a nice smooth movement. But if you've got other action going on as well, cool. I just thought that would be, so I never actually do it that way. I never use moving it around like that because I just find it's a bit jerky. But I thought I'd just show you what it is so you knew what the other option was. So now you can decide not to do it. Yeah. Maybe that was just a waste of time. Maybe I can hit the erase button. Erase, 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 erase. They won't notice. They won't notice, will they?